Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking ABS sheeting. So they may look very plain and boring, but these are so versatile. I absolutely love working with them. I use them a lot at work. So if you didn't know, I actually work in scaffolding. So it is a high danger area and we have a lot of different regulations that need to be met. There's a lot of no smoking areas, there's a lot of no entry points, there's things that have to be put in certain places. So we have a lot of signage up to specify where things need to go. And the ABS sheeting is perfect for that. It is semi-weatherproof. You can leave it outside, but it will get brittle over time. And when I say over time, I'm talking probably years. So you're going to get good use out of it. It's not an expensive item. So personally, I do think that it is a good option for work signage, outdoor signage. Ours have lasted about a year so far. They're still looking great. So I think they've got a good couple years in them. The safety signage that you buy in the shops is done with ABS sheeting. So you got to remember that there are SANS regulations in terms of safety signage. So if you want to sell them, you would probably have to get some sort of regulation or some sort of permission to do so. But for personal usage, for usage within your own company, they're absolutely awesome. I also don't think it is too difficult to be able to get the proper certification to be able to sell these, so that is another good option. So you can use them in the house as well. You can use them for house number signs, you can use them for postbox number signs, you can use them on your garage, you can use it in the house if you want to put signage up. So for instance, if you want to put a nice quirky saying up on your wall, you can use this. So you get different types of ABS sheeting. This one is quite sturdy, so you can see there's not much bend in it. And then this one is a lot softer. So you get different thicknesses, you also get different sizes. So if I remember correctly, Craft Buddies has 3 different thicknesses. I think they're all the same size. I'll have to check on the sizing for you. I will probably put it in the bottom of the video so that you can see. So I have these 2 sheets to work with, and I'm going to be working with the thinner one today. So what I want to do is I want to make something for sort of indoors, something different. I do safety signage all the time, so for me that's pretty much a no-brainer. It's super simple. I want to show you a different way of using them, and I want to maybe spark that creativity a bit. What I like about them is that they are cheap, but they are also sturdy. So it's not like sticking a sign on a piece of paper or sticking a sign on a piece of cardboard. You're actually going to get some usage out of it. And especially with the thicker ones, you could probably prop these up. What I think would be great as well is maybe if you have space behind your desk or in your crafting area, you could have like a whole wall full of quirky signs. So let's jump into the design so that you can see what we're going to do today, and then we will get to making it. For the design, I have gone with something a little bit intricate. So I have already designed it. I've played around with a couple different designs and I've found one that I'm happy with. So I'm going to show you how to basically recreate this. Maybe it will give you some ideas on things you can do. I will make a version of this public. It won't be the exact one because it does have uploaded elements, but I will sort of have a version of it as public on my profile. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a shape. So we're going to use a square, and I've already measured the ABS sheet that I'm going to be using, and it is 25 wide by 23 high. So we're going to have to unlock it, and we're going to make our height 23. So it's going to be 25 by 23, same proportions. And then what you're going to do is you're going to change this under operation to guide. So I always design within a guide. I just find it super helpful. It doesn't go onto your cut screen, so that is a bonus. So the first thing that I did is I looked under phrases because I knew I wanted something, I just wasn't sure what. I think I looked under create. So let's have a look and see if that's what we looked under. There it is there. So there's different versions of this. These are print and cut. They would look awesome. There was also a full color one somewhere. I thought this one would be perfect. So we're going to add that to our canvas. Okay, we've got it. And then what I did is I wanted to add beautiful things into it. So I added my text. And you can play around to see what text works for you, but I have my favorites that I work with. So Bickley script is one of my favorites. I love how flowy and sort of elegant it is. So this is one that I go with often. And then I said beautiful things. Was it? Oh, I didn't use Bickley. For this one, I actually used Gravura, which is also one of my favorites. So now you've got two good examples of sort of elegant, flowy fonts that you can use. But this is the one that I use. So it's Gravura.com. So let's resize this. Let's sort of just see where we are with it. Okay, so that's pretty accurate. And then I wanted this to sort of connect, but also be its own word, I guess you could say that. Okay, then what I did is I said offset 0.018 and I applied that, and then I deleted my previous word, and then I offset it again, apply, and we're going to delete our previous one. So we're going to change this to black. Is it black? Black. Reposition to see we're happy with it. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to weld those two together. Combine, weld. We don't want them to cut separately. We want them to cut as one. You can then take your create and your weld result and you can group those again. Okay, so the next thing I did is I wanted a font that was easy to read. I didn't want something flowy, so I went with Aldine 721BT, and that I put in my handle for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So the plan is to display this in my videos, or if by any chance I do a private class or something to that effect, then I can display this. So that's pretty simple. Obviously, with the uploads, what I did is I said upload image, browse. I have so much going on here. So these were, let's say complex. I think these were PNGs. So these, I didn't have to do anything. I said apply, select cut image, and I said upload. Very, very simple. So you can see I've got them there already. I did do a Facebook one because I thought that I was doing Facebook, but I wasn't. So then obviously you insert it and it all works together. So that is very simple. Then what I did for my outside things is I duplicated this and I actually just used it like so, and I said slice. So it's going to be very difficult for me to get the exact placement that I previously used because I've played around a bit. Then I would delete that. And then I would take my pink slice results in my layers panel. because those are my guard, and I would combine and weld that so my guard is whole again. I would then have to send my guard to the back. Remember, when you work on something, if you weld it, slice it, it brings it to the front. So to make it easier for yourself, you would have to just send it to the back. So I did that, and I just kept using the same image over and over to slice different parts out of it to give me that effect. And I'm really happy with that. So let's get rid of this. Um, then what I did to get my spacing right with my, social media things is I said align, center horizontally, and then I said align again, and I said distribute vertically. That ensures that I'm getting good spacing. I then also played with my line spacing and my letter spacing. So you can see up here, I've increased my letter spacing to 0.7 and my line spacing to 3.2. And that was just to make sure that I had good usage of the space that I had available to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take my handles and the social media little icons, and I'm going to combine and I'm going to weld those. So you don't have to. If you want to do everything separate, that's completely up to you. I've done this before, and I know personally that I'm not very good with alignment. So I don't actually want to spend time aligning. I would rather use the extra vinyl, know that I'm getting a perfect result, which is pretty much what I want. So I do want to actually just attach everything. And I think that's going to make sure that I get exactly what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach my weld result to, so let's attach that, oopsie, undo. So what happened there? Because I had a pink color in it and because it was grouped together, when I selected that, it selected the entire group, and that's why we've got pink. So I just say undo. We're going to ungroup this. And then I'm going to select my weld result with my words, and I'm going to attach that. So attaching is it's like an unofficial weld, except if your stuff is overlapping, it's still going to cut as two separate parts, and it's going to cut through each other. So as long as it's not overlapping, you can use the attach function. For the bottom, so for not that one and that one, I want to attach that. Or yeah, let's attach it. And for the top ones, I think it will be fine like that. It's pretty simple to do. So I am ready to cut this. What I do want to do though is I want to make a stand for my sign. So I already have that in the background. You can have a look. This is where I found it. So it's called Photo Stand. It is a design space project by decor. So if you're looking for it, that's where you're going to find it. So what I need to ensure now is that the space between those pieces is going to be sufficient to hold my image, or to hold my sign. So I'm going to add in a 25 wide thing, and you can see, oopsie, Control Z, and you can see that it's not going to be big enough. So let's just have a look at our chipboard to see if we can make this any bigger. So our chipboard's 28 by 28, so we can increase this. So let's increase it to 25. And I do think that's going to be sufficient. It's giving us an 18 centimeter height. Our height is about 23, I think it is. So I mean, we could even go 27 on this. Remember, there's going to be an overlap and it's going to kind of curve in. So there is going to be, it is going to be less of a width. That's the best way to say it. So we're going to get to cutting this. I'm going to cut the chipboard and I'm going to cut the vinyl. I think you've seen me cut vinyl enough times to know how to do it. You've seen me cut chipboard. So I'm not going to run through that with you. I don't think it's necessary. Maybe it is. Maybe I should show you. I'm not sure at this point. So you've seen our design, super simple, simplish. I'm going to be using smart vinyl for that. So when you're working with stuff that's going to be outdoors, I would suggest using an outdoor vinyl or a smart vinyl. Reason being, it's going to be subjected to rain, sun, all sorts of things. You do want it to last. So if you're going to use an indoor vinyl, your ABS is probably going to last longer than your vinyl is. I'm going to be using smart vinyl, black, and some shimmer pink. So you've seen the design, you see how it's going to work. And then I'm also going to be using some of the Cricut heavy chipboard. So remember, for the heavy chipboard, you're going to need your knife blade and your strong grip mat. So we've been through all of this before. It's super, super simple. I'm going to get to cutting it, and then I'm going to meet you back here. I've finished cutting all of my elements. So for the black smart vinyl, I used the outdoor vinyl setting. For the shimmer vinyl, I used the shimmer setting, and then my cat sat on it. So we now have cat hair all over it. I can't believe it. She's the best worst. Anyway, she sat on both of them. And now there's cat hair everywhere. So for our heavy chipboard, I used the heavy chipboard 2mm setting. I did tape down my chipboard, and I stopped it after 14 passes. So it just super, super simple. Slides in there. Oopsie. Slides in there. And then we're going to have us. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I love it. Okay, so what I do want to do is I want to pull out our paint, and I do want to give this a good paint. Let's put our sign together though, then we'll see where we're at with it. So one thing to remember is that your shimmer vinyl does require a strong grip tape. For this one, I'm actually going to use the book wrap, simply because I don't have enough transfer tape at the moment. So another thing I would highly suggest is a solution. Oh, this solution's gross. I wonder if I have a new one. I could just mix one quickly. So the solution is a little bit of dishwashing liquid, sunlight dishwashing liquid with water. So I think it's 2.5 mils of dishwashing liquid to 500 mils of water. You don't shake it, you just give it a mix, and we're going to use that to help us get no bubbles. Now this is very important. So with the design that we are busy working with, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but when I was doing my work signage, it made a huge difference. So another thing you're going to need is some kitchen towel. I would suggest one that's not going to produce dust, because then that's going to end up getting stuck under your vinyl. So we're going to be doing what they call the wet method for this. That's going to help me to get no bubbles. I have had it where I've had really bad bubbles with my work ones, and I was not happy at all with it. So we're going to do it that way. All in all, it is actually a super, super simple project, but I'm hoping that the end result is going to make you realize how worthwhile it is. So you can literally get a sheet of ABS. You can create something beautiful with very little effort, and you can either use it at work. So this would also be great, specifically what I'm doing, this would be great in a salon or at a work desk. I think this is a really good idea, if I do say so myself. So if you remember our designing, we did not attach these parts. We did attach the bottom pieces, and then we attached all of this. So that's how we're going to have to put it all together. So I'm just going to grab our transfer tape. I'm going to grab our kitchen towel, and I will be right back. I have our book wrap, and I have our paper towel, so you can see it's a non-dust one. So we're going to get going. Now, why am I using book wrap instead of transfer tape? Reason being, it's going to be a one-use thing. So because I'm doing the wet method, I'm not going to be able to use this piece of transfer tape again. I might in this application, but I won't be able to do it with a different project. So that is something to just keep in mind. You obviously don't want it to turn out to be a super expensive project. So let's just see. I just want to see if I can. So I do want to put this on first, just so that we can get our spacing right. And remember, as much as possible, when applying your transfer tape, you don't really want bubbles in it. That's pretty important. Okay, so we're just going to use our scraper, scrape everything down. And let's just make sure we have it the right way. That's how we wanted it. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to give it a quick spray and wipe. Oopsie. And this is just to make sure it's clean, because you want a clean surface to begin with. Remember, we always remove our backing from our vinyl, not our vinyl from our backing. Oops, we lost a piece, but it's completely fine. Okay, so now we're just going to give a quick spray. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a water barrier that's going to help us to get rid of bubbles. And depending on how much you actually put on, you may be able to move your vinyl like I'm doing now, so it doesn't grab on straight away. Okay. Now this part is super important. You're going to have to scrape like crazy. Okay, so when you remove it, you want to slide it back on itself. If you do lose any pieces, you can just... So the wet method does make it a lot harder to adhere, but you're not going to get bubbles, and that is super, super important to me. So, and no, this doesn't affect the long-term stickiness. It will dry under there and your design will be beautiful. So you can see there's still some water. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So even just my fingers are getting rid of that water. And there you have it. Now we're going to do the big part, I think. Oh, why am I so nervous? Okay, so based on our last piece, we're going to cut around this as much as possible. Oh, I hope I'm not cutting it. Okay, so what I do usually do, I hold it at an arm's length and I spray like so that it's not too much. Like here's a lot. Because the more water you have, the harder it's going to be for you. Although it is going to give you beautiful results, and they do say beauty is pain, so there's that. Yay! Okay, now for the scary part. Okay, so I've got my water on there. It's half dried already. So we hold it up really high. And we try and not get huge droplets, because that will make it super difficult for us. Oopsie. I need bigger hands. Let's just check it. I mean, it looks great. Okay, you're gonna wanna I love it. And look at that. So you can see in the thick pieces, there's no bubbles. How pretty is that? I love it. Oopsie. I think that is so pretty. And it's such a cheap and easy way to do it. And I don't mean looks cheap. I mean, it's cheap. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money to make amazing things. So the last thing I want to do is I actually want to paint these pink, and then I want to do my stand. I've got my Granny Bees paint out. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I absolutely love this paint. After working with it, I am sold. So it comes with a paintbrush, which I'm going to use today. Should probably go the opposite way. I don't know. I don't want to tear it. There we are. So it comes with a paintbrush, a luxurious one at that. And there are 6 paints in here. So let me bring it forward so you can see. I'm going to be using the cotton candy today. It dries fast. It has amazing coverage. It's beautiful. So I'm going to speed it up and I'm going to paint this and I will show you the end results. I went and I washed off the brushes, very important. If the paint dries on it, you will not have paintbrushes anymore. So this, I don't think I mentioned, is an old Cricut mat that I'm using as a desk saver. And there is our picture holder. You can use this for anything. It doesn't have to be for this. Oopsie, I got some paint on here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to take a really nice picture of this so that I can show you. But I am in love with that. Look at that. The color goes perfectly. I'm in love. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you learned something. And I can't wait to see all of your beautiful ABS signs that you're going to be making. Please do share them. I love seeing what everybody has to make.